It says I'm live, but I'm so not live. I am not live. I am not well. I don't know how any of us could be well after that. I sat here. I sat here like literally just like half hour, 45 minutes after that. And I'm like, look, if I sit here anymore, I have a bunch of sharp objects and power tools and shit. I'm going to do something bad. I got to get the fuck out of here. So I went, I worked out, I ran, played pool with my girl. But my God, I'm at the point now where the powers that be or the football gods literally sat there with right before I mentioned happened and said to myself it was like a minute and change left in the third quarter. And I said to myself, it's like the football gods at that point said, all right, you guys want to have some fun? How can we fuck with Bills fans emotionally, spiritually, physically for the next however long? Like, let's just do whatever we want, just dangle it in front of them, let them have a taste, pull it back. It was just, oh my God, I don't even know where to fucking start. Like, I could sit there and say, yeah, they were up 24-10. They got a turnover, right? And there's always three things that I'll find in a game where the game could have turned. They get an interception. Dane Jackson, right out of the second half. They don't do anything with it. They have to punt it back to Minnesota. Nothing. I don't think they got a field goal out of that. If they did, I don't remember. But there was one turnover. Might have been the Benford one. They didn't get a. I think the Benford one. Sorry if my memory is shaky. I'm not ready to do that, Hussein, because the only way I'm staying sane is that there's 8 games left. We've seen this team in a lurch before, and we've seen them pull out of it, and that's all any of us can hope for. And the only way that happens is next Sunday. So I'm not ready to just do that. That's insane. You got to ride high when they're winning, and you got to suck the shit stick when they're losing, especially like that. But today is the first. I'll go back to my 3 things. Today is the first day though that I felt like the injuries on defense finally caught up to them. Young guys in the secondary, guys playing new positions, rookies, you name it, and it looked. It looked like he's still trying to win the Super Bowl in every play, and he's got to stop doing that. And he needs to learn that lesson. And this is the only way you learn that lesson. He needs to you can't win the Super Bowl on a play in week 10, week 9 in early November. You just can't do it. And I really felt like the injuries finally got them. You're down Poyer. You already you're out without Hyde throughout the year, so I'm not going to mention him. But the Trey thing is starting to be, is he or isn't he? I kind of think they're waiting for Thanksgiving to give him the full year, and then you give him the long, like the mini bye. That's what I'm thinking. But you know what? You're without Elam, who's a rookie himself. Edmonds left, I think, in the second half. He was not on the field. After he dove, he jumped and missed that pick, but it was an incomplete pass. He fell on the ground and kind of looked around, and he wasn't on the field again. It just seems like in these second halves they start getting in their own way. They really start getting in their own way. Offensively, where the game really, for me, there was another sequence where it was really won and lost. You're 2nd and 2 at the 4. and it's 3 straight passes because they went on 4th down. And that to me, that was that was egregious. That was egregious. Like in these sequences, I'm on the headset with Dorsey, with Josh. Look, we're gonna run it twice here. We're gonna run it twice, and you're gonna get one of them. And the decision not to kick the field goal there ended up costing them dearly, because you turn over the ball, you give them a short field, and it was just a mess. You had a fourth and 19. I get it. Cam Lewis is a small guy. He's fucking undersized, but he's got to know to just knock that pass out of there. He's got to knock that pass. He's got to hit that pass. There's just no way. I know it's one of those teaching moments coaches are gonna say, but he's got to knock that pass. There's so many plays that this game could have been lost and won on. But let's be real. You're up, what is it, 14, 17 points at home. You can't lose a game like this. You just can't do it. It's inexcusable. It's really inexcusable. And they just we're talking about the same thing, the same two things we were for the last 2 years. The run stopping shit, it's back because, well, yeah, I'm okay with it too, but you got to run the ball. If you know you're going to go, one of those plays has to be a run, Captain. It has to be. One of those plays, you've got to run the football. We have the quarterback. They have the quarterback that they have. You have to give him a chance to be a threat as a runner. Well, he sits next to Brady. Brady's talking to him the whole game, Hussein. We see so little of that stuff, and the only time the camera pans is when a mistake happens or something. I don't glean much from those things. You know what I mean? I really don't. Like, we get worked up about it as fans, but I used to. But now it's just, you know, I feel like that sequence was terrible. There was another one where they had a short situation and they just went crazy pass happy. Another thing I noticed with the run game, they were really attacking the edges in the first half. They were really hurting Minnesota on the edges. The 2 touchdown runs were on the edges. One Cook run was on the edges, and they just stopped doing it. In the second half, it just went away. It just kind of went to Josh Hero Bowl time. Josh making plays, scrambling, throwing the ball in 3rd and long, bunch of off schedule stuff. Nothing, guys were making some crazy catches out there. Justin Jefferson's a fucking alien. I mean, he really is. He's a hard guy to defend. I feel for a guy like Benford. That one pass interference though was pretty rough. He just panicked. He just felt like you get beat so many times and you just panic. Doesn't get his head around, doesn't get his hands up, and there's no need to just start grabbing a guy like that because these refs. A guy like that's going to get a call. It was crazy. There was so many times in that game that it could have flowed one way or another. It could have turned into a blowout. But the 81-yard touchdown run was a backbreaker because you have them in a spot where they have to drive the field. You're up 17. There's only a minute change left, and you let them punch, you let them body blow you. It's like a boxer who's got a big lead and he gets a little lazy and he lets his defense down and he gets caught, just with being sloppy, just gets caught and he gets dropped. And it's just like, okay, this guy's back in this fight now. This guy's back in this fight. Yeah, man. And again, Hussein, I'm going to go back to that. Thanks for getting me back on track. It's the same thing. It's like this run game that we don't have. It's Josh scrambling. Our back, yeah, perfect. You got it. Our backs don't get a chance. And I'm talking about 1 or 2. This thing today with the 4 was insane. I'm like, no. You need to have a guy. You're the dude. You're our guy. You tote the rock for us. The other guy's the backup. That's it. Last year when the offense got humming, it was once Motor established himself, he was the guy. You didn't really see Moss much at all, if any, because Breida, deactivated himself. For me, it's like you draft Cook in the second round. Motor put a ball on the ground today. He scores 2 touchdowns, but you got to give this kid a chance. He's got to get a chance to get some run, and the run design is just drives me nuts. And I've talked about this play multiple times. Josh is in the pistol, and it's that give to Singletary never gains a fucking yard. I'm like, how can they look at the film and say we're going to run this play when they do it with motion and stuff and some eye candy? It works. But when they just do that straight little whatever dive, it's terrible. It's like that's going nowhere. That's going nowhere. And I'm just a firm believer you got to start getting the ball in the hands of guys that can really burn a defense. And Cook is one of those guys. I feel like you have to start getting this kid involved. You have to. He can decompress the defense. He can go 0 to 60 like that. And it's well, today I understand it, Hussein, because they were in some down and distant situations that were, particularly in the second half, that were daunting. There was not a lot of third and shorts. There was a lot of third, there was a couple of penalties that had him backed up. There was that 3rd and 15 crazy one-hander Josh caught. There was a few others. There was that one Josh scrambles, Davis comes back, catches it, was like 19-yard pass. There was a lot of that. There was so many of those, because they just weren't on schedule. They just weren't. And you don't have a run game. If you have a run game, you can get that touchdown, get it a hell of a lot closer. Maybe Josh can dive it in. When you decide to, throw 3 straight times, you're up by 17. You can start, pounding them a little bit. You can start, giving them some body blows. And they're not patient with it. They just don't have the patience with it. It's annoying because the run design is terrible. I don't know if it's what's left over from Daboll. And, Daboll, what he's doing now looks good. I mean, yeah, it looks good because you got, 2 first-round tackles. One's top 5. The other's a top 10. Feliciano is familiar with their system. I always felt he was a better center than guard. Their guard, Glowinski was a good run blocker for the Colts. We know that firsthand. And they have Saquon Barkley, who's an athlete, who's more physically gifted than anybody at the position. Size, speed combo. He's insane. So he's still running the same stuff, but with more talented people. And I just don't like the run design. I haven't for a long time. It's just not good. You have a fullback on the there was that one touchdown Minnesota scored. I've been dying for Gilliam to get that in short yardage, where it's like they dragged Osgood across. They had the split back like in the eye. It was like offset, and then they just handed it to Ham, and he scored an easy touchdown. It was a walk-in for him. It was a walk-in. It was a walk-in. It was terrible. I didn't see many of those today, Hussein. I didn't see many. I saw one where it hit a guy's helmet, but that's it. Nah, Matt, it's all right. He's not playing well. He's just not seeing the field well. He's trying to win the game on every throw. He's got to learn to live to fight another down. Even on the last play of the game on offense, it's like, dude, you're 2nd and 10. You're in field goal range, right? You're in field goal range. I know you're driving for the win. You have 2 timeouts in a minute, right? This is not a gotta have it moment. This is not a situation. And I even felt like he could have took off again. He could have took off and ran again and got an easy first down. The middle just it's cavernous. It just opened right up, you know? And they really, they have to have a come to Jesus meeting with some balance. Ever since they took their foot off the gas in the second half of Green Bay, you can't just restart that shit. It's the NFL. Like teams teams are tired of hearing about the Bills and how good they're expected to be in their ratings and the whole week, with Josh's elbow and stuff like that. It just would seem like he's gonna play. I he was gonna play. Yeah, I'll have to look back, Captain. I saw I have I have the damn game recorded. I don't want to watch it back. It's just frustrating. He's like, dude, there's things there. Like, stop. You don't need to be you'll be a hero. Just let it come to you. Just like with some of those runs, those were amazing. Like only he can, he's one of the few guys in the league that can do that shit. He just needs to like get back to basics, dude. Just do the simple things well. All the spectacular shit's gonna happen. Just do the basic bitch stuff. And just like with the wins, do the basic bastard stuff, and the wins are gonna come. But these turnovers and the turnovers are just getting to be too much. I mean, Singletary put a ball on the carpet. The play the third play that I was gonna mention that really killed him. And you don't think about it at the time, right? Because you're just so caught up in the jubilation of you feel like, okay, they're just going to fall on this, and then they'll just kind of kneel the next one down, and then the game's over. Fucking, they're at like the 2.5, and the Jordan Phillips penalty on the play that on fourth down where Kirk Cousins tried to get it to Cook and Milano knocks it out. Bill's ball, right? They have 2.5 yards. They could have just kind of went and knelt it down there, and they get another play, and it's Cousins sneak. Well, they get half the distance of the goal. Cousins sneak it. He's slightly short, and it's like they had no room. And then the botch snap happens, and then that's like again, there's just so many plays in that game, and even in that moment, had they kicked the field goal, it's still only a tie game, when they decided to go for it. But, all that stuff, it just adds up to just a horrible loss. It really, really does. It really, really does. There's so many, man. I appreciate that, Matt, because I don't listen like you guys. I don't listen to other Bills people. Like the Bills people I talk with are a couple of friends I text with, and you guys. That's it. Otherwise, I'm in a bubble. I live in North New Jersey. I don't know another Bills fan in the flesh that lives around me. I don't know what other people are saying. Everybody has their own take. They have their own. That's their right. I know emotionally, like literally, like this is me. Like after the game, I'll shit you not. I'm gonna show you something. I'm sitting here after the game, right? And I'm sitting here with a fucking sledgehammer, just like this, just like. And I'm like, if I don't leave here, I'm just gonna blast the television. So I had to get out of here. I'm like, I gotta go work out. I gotta go work out. You see my Instagram, I went and ran 4 miles. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. But yeah, it's not even not good enough. It's like I said, I started out this, and I said it was like a minute and change in the third quarter. It was like the football gods decided to sit there and say, "You guys want to have some fun? Let's fuck with Bills fans to the nth degree. We're gonna do everything and anything to destroy them, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, in the next however long till the game. We decide to end the game." And that's what happened. I threw the get out. I don't know what I did, but it was not good, man. Like I said, I went and ran, I worked out, I played pool with my girl. It was a nice we had a nice talk. It was like that, but it was just, I always say, like, I can't be a pom pom waver and a cheerleader. And you know how I am when they win. And then when they lose, I can't go missing. I can't go hiding. I can't be one of these types of shenanigans. I can't do that because that's not fair. And I know you guys want to talk. I want to talk. Otherwise, I'm not gonna, you know, it's gonna be a hard night's sleep tonight. It must suck to be them too, because that's got to be a hard game to go to sleep on. But they also have to be of the mindset. There's 8 more games left, and they've got to get their shit squared away quick. They're not getting. That's the frustrating part. Is these 3 losses? They've had so many chances to win those games. They're not getting boat raced. They're shooting themselves in the foot. And it's the season of giving in Buffalo. It really is. It's the what is it they call the city of good neighbors? The city of good neighbors, right? The city of good neighbors is in the gift giving season so far. They are just giving the football away, and it's killing them. It's killing them. I mean, even the Singletary fumble killed them. The second that Josh, I mean, that ends the game. But the fumble on the it kills them. It just last week, the 2 interceptions, you take a field goal minimum off the board. The other interception, it was like you gave him a touchdown. The fumble in Miami gave them a touchdown. It's just like, here's these wins. Just take them. We don't want them. Yeah, Doug, I said that myself. I'm like, why did we trade for this guy? He's going to be your punt returner, right? And then all of a sudden, it's Duke Johnson's up. They have basically 6 running backs up. One's a special teams player, the other is a fullback, and then it's just like, for me, it's 2 backs. Get the 2 backs you like the best, and then play with them. None more of this bullshit. Okay. No more of this bullshit. You know what they say? It's like quarterbacks. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Well, guess what? If you have 4 running backs, you have none. Because they don't have one that's physical. That's the issue, and it's been their issue. They don't have a guy that they can hand the ball between the tackles and get you 4 to 5 yards, 3 hard yards when you need it, a hard yard when you need it. They don't have that guy. The guy that they have that does that for them plays quarterback. And you don't want him to do that all the time. You don't want that to happen all the time. I mean, it's like he says, that there's got to have it situations where he has to do it. There's no other course of action but for him to do it. But as per the running back, you just hand the ball off. He's going to get you a quick. I'm screaming over here, like, get Cook the ball. Let this kid run. He's a young dude. He can't handle 10 carries in the NFL. He can't handle 10 to 15 carries in the NFL. What the fuck did you draft him in the second round? You don't you draft impact players there. You don't draft, we're going to figure it out as we go along. No. You need to have a plan, and you need to execute it. Until they do it, Matt. Yeah, Captain, that's they haven't. Dude, Doug, I'm telling you, I said that before. This play has to, I swear, if they run that fucking play one more fucking time, I lose my shit when they run that fucking play. It's this. I'm Allen. That's the offensive line. Dive to Singletary for no gain. It is guaranteed not to work. Stop it. The offensive line gets no traction. They can't put their hand in the ground and drive. You're going to run the football, put Allen under center, gives them the threat of the play action, the deep shot, everything. Put him under center, put Gilliam in the backfield, and just ram it down their fucking throat. Stop with this cute shit. Daboll can pull it off here in New York a little bit. His quarterback is very mobile, and his offensive line has, pretty good run blockers, 2 top 10 picks, and a fucking freak show of a running back. They can pull that shit off. They can get that off because Saquon's a freak of nature. And Daniel Jones, if he keeps it, is also like Allen in certain regards. But stop that shit. I hate that fucking play. That play, I hate. I hate it. I hate it. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way. You probably see it. They telegraph it. Like, I'm over here, Dickhead McGee in Jersey City, and I'm like, they're going to fucking hand it to Singletary and not get a yard. And it happened like 4 times today. I'm like, motherfucker, if I can see it, all the professionals there on the other sideline and in the fucking booth can see it too. Stop it. They see it on film. Dude, the wide was working. That's how they scored the first 2 touchdowns. Cook's best run was wide. It was like a 7-yard run. Then he didn't get the fucking ball again. It was like after the Singletary fumble was a wide run, right off of Deion Dawkins' outside shoulder. It was a good run. He fucking fumbled. Bad. They stopped doing it after that. I'm like, they just went into, we're going to spread them out and it's going to be Josh time. It's Josh time. This reminds me of the stretch, the Atlanta game, the Carolina game a little bit. But they ran the ball. They ran the ball in those games. That was the difference. They committed to it. Yeah, it's you gotta to me, Cook is an explosive player. He's a player that can back up the defense. He's a player that can burn them once he gets to the second level. In the pass game, in the run game, Singletary is a nice player. He's been a good servant to the team. He's not a scared shitless player. Like, I'm not sitting there as a defensive coach being like, we got to stop Motor. No. Now, I don't know if Cook is either, but I want to find out. Because the other guy's gone at the end of this year. And you just traded for a back too. What's the plan with him? Return punts? I get it. You want a veteran. All right. What else? Because it just can't be this. And I'm going off on a complete tangent. But when you're up 17 points, another thing too, your defense can't get beat for an 81-yard run. That cannot happen. And I know Dalvin Cook is an amazing player. Fucking Justin Jefferson's a goddamn alien. And it just got to the point in the second half where Cousins was back there, and where he felt or knew Justin Jefferson was going to be in the vicinity, he was just throwing it up. He was just like, go get it, dude. He was doing that. He was doing old school 2K football fucking when you had Randy Moss and the Vikings. He was just like, go get it. Go get it. And he would moss you. Yeah, it's disgusting, dude. It's what has it been? It's been fuck, bro. It's been what? 4 field goals. 4 field goals in the last 3 games in the second half. That's 2 touchdowns. You swap out 2 touchdowns instead of those field goals, you win. And that's not asking for a lot. That's not asking for a lot. With a mobile quarterback of this size, I see that they have Quentin Morris on the field a lot. I mean, like, is he going to get targeted? Is he just a distraction? What is he? You know, this is good for the Bills because San Francisco is going to beat the Chargers. Read some of your comments, guys. Thanks for listening to me, bitch. But I swear, it's like they sat there. It was like that fourth quarter was hell. I can't recall a quarter that was more emotionally fucking, just oh horrific on a football fan psyche. It was like the death of a thousand cuts. They would fix one though every once in a while. They'd put some bacitracin on it or some Aquaphor, and then they gash you again real quick. That's what it was. That's what it felt like. It was like, oh, thought we were gonna be nice. Nah, fuck you. What a shit show. What a shit show, guys. That second half was just, I really makes me sick when the Bills get an interception or a turnover. The one lateral to Cook could have been a game changer. They slowed up on a little bit and kind of I was just like, oh my God, he lateraled it, he's down. I think that was part of they ended up getting a first down. I think that was either the Benford pass interference or it ended up being the Justin Jefferson crazy fourth down catch over Cam Lewis. I don't know which one that was. You know that this opponent scores. Yeah. Well, when you commit the penalty, it ends up they get two fourth down stops, obviously fumbling it there, and then the Jordan Phillips penalty that gave them half the distance was the distance that you would need to just be safe with it. And then it was just a mess. I started off the video before a lot of you guys got in here. I said some things. I think I just had Hussein in here for a little while. I said that the injuries are starting to really catch up to them on defense. The injuries are really catching them up on defense. I'll say this though: Damar Hamlin is a really nice player. Damar Hamlin's turned into a really nice player, and he looks like a guy worth keeping around. Um, um, but you bench Johnson, you bring in Cam Lewis. Um, Johnson seemed to get demoted for Dean Marlowe too, because Marlowe was the next safety up. You're without Elam. You have a rookie Benford. You have Jackson. They had Xavier Rhodes up for this game, but I didn't see him on the field at all. So it's like the only really true regular in your secondary at this moment is Taron Johnson, who's played every game, and then Dane Jackson. They really need to get Trey on the field. They need Poyer back ASAP. Like they really need to get these guys back. I felt like they should have went on the move, Captain. I felt like they should have just like gave it a shot where it's like if you get him like that QB sneak, I was hoping for that QB sneak. You run that QB sweep, and then you give him an option to pass off of that. And because everybody's going to come crashing down, they're going to attack. They're coming. So one guy can leak out quick, and then that's it. But I mean, they need to get. I'll say this too: the middle of that offensive line does not get a lot of movement. It just doesn't get movement. It doesn't get movement, and the the Saffold signing has not done too well. Morris fucking hog tie. Well, I can understand he doesn't want him to get a free run on Josh. and he just brought him down. There was 2 plays where it was like 2 consecutive holds, and one was a very successful play. I think I can't remember it was a successful play though. It was a run. It was a run, and fucking came back for hold. No, it was a Josh run, and Spencer Brown got called for holding. Then there was another hold on Deion Dawkins somewhere in there. No, it was, I believe it was Quentin Morris, not Quentin Morris, Mitch Morris that got called for holding. Uh, I will try to sleep now so I can write off. It's all good, bro. Get some rest, man. You know, you're all halfway around the world. Yeah, go Bills always, man. I just feel like I know this for a fact. I know this for a fact. It's there was a back that was supposed to come out last year that they wanted highly. They wanted a lot. They obviously, other teams would want him too, but there was a back in particular that they liked this kid a lot. And he chose to stay in school. I don't know why, but he chose to stay in school. And I look at his physical his body and stuff, and it's just like his style of running. I was like, that's the perfect back for what they need now and what they've needed. That kid is. I think I've talked about him in the room before, but the kid from LSU that his nickname's the Terminator, Charbonnet, Zach Charbonnet. He's 6 foot change. He's 225. His feet are beautiful. His physical, downhill, hard to fucking tackle. And they just haven't been able to get a guy. That's why I think Duke was up. Duke was up for pass protection. Duke was up to run between the tackles, and they kind of got telegraphed. It's like, okay, they're going to hand it to him. If he's in the game, they're going to hand it to him. Josh isn't keeping it. It just got to the point where they wanted to, limit his running. He didn't keep any of those. And then in the second, and when it got late in the game and they was it either tied or losing, Josh just went into, hero ball mode. The sugar high Josh is back, unfortunately. I don't know if it's sugar high, but it's just like he's just trying to win the game when there's still more. You have plenty of time. Like the last sequence, he had plenty of time. Somebody put a link in the room before. I didn't click on it. I apologize. I think Matt, he had a Singletary in the middle. You said. I just wish I could see the wide view of that play, like the behind the quarterback. Like if I could see that, it's easier. But I mean, because I want to see what's behind him too, because I believe I know Eric Kendrick was right there, but I felt like Josh could have ran. I really felt like Josh could have ran there and made some hay, but he chose to just throw it into coverage. He just chose to throw it into coverage. Some of those sacks though, Josh is holding on to the ball a little bit too long. He's not, either throwing the ball away or just, getting out of dodge quick. Seeing, well, nothing's open. I gotta, within the first 2.5 seconds, this play is dead, or this play, I've got a book, or throw the ball away. And I'm not saying sometimes taking a sack is a good play. Sometimes taking a sack is a good play. Oh, dude, Doug, he could have the first thing I thought when I saw, because they kept showing that replay over, and I'm like, dude, he can go. Like, he might get inside the 5. He might get inside the 5, and then I think we got this. But you never know. You never know. So I was just like, why did he throw that? Like, what did he see? There was like 3-4 Vikings there. Like, and I think Diggs was on the other side. I didn't see. He said it was a double post. I didn't see the other post. I saw, but Davis didn't win on his route. Davis wasn't open. He didn't win on his route, so I don't know what he was throwing at. Well, I think it's raised everybody's eyebrows, Matt. So it's like you're not wrong there. Yeah, they don't again, running the ball, they were having great success on the edges, on the perimeter. They stopped doing it, and they just decided to just revert back to that dive up the middle stuff, and that shit doesn't work. That shit doesn't work. I just feel like he needs to stop trying to win the game on every play and then realize and recognize the situation. Like mentally, like, hey, look at the time, got two timeouts, got a minute and change left. We're fine. You know what I mean? And he chose to just, you know, not, you never go broke taking a profit. And he just chose to do what he did, and we've seen everything as Bills fans. We've seen everything. I mean, so today to me is kind of like I just have to mentally revert back to all the horrors, whether it's 13 seconds, whether it's wide right, Music City Miracle, just give it to them. The Patriots, torturing us all these years, decades, all of it. You name it. There's all these indignities that are just baked in there. Dude, today in the fourth quarter was everything. Today, thanks, Doug. I'm gonna look at that. Oh my god, it's a fucking cavern. Like I see those two guys sitting on Singletary, so he's open for like about a 5 yard gain. Maybe he could take it to the outside and make a guy miss. So because everybody was kind of flooded over to the left, but the who's running? Morris is running the other post. Morris, uh, nobody was open. Nobody was open there. Like literally nobody was open. The only person that was open was Motor. And then Josh could have scrambled. The only person on that play open was Motor. There was nobody else open on that play. But you know, I was never worried about the elbow. All that stuff during the week just had me like like just look at the way the team acted, look at the way the team treated him. There was no ice, no medical attention. He just uncorked a fucking 70-yard bomb. They're playing this like, okay, he's not gonna practice. He's not gonna practice. Oh, like practice. Like they just need to get back. Like this week, they need to go back to business. They really do. Did he? I felt like he should have got Bills get no flags. I'm just sorry. There was another play like I felt like could there have been a flag there? The homeboy didn't get his head around. He kind of pulled Knox to the ground. Is there a flag to be had anywhere? And just again, the Bills just do not get illegal contact flags. They don't get defensive holding flags. They don't get pass interference flags, and they throw just as much as anybody in the league. They just don't get those calls. They just don't get those calls. They just don't. I know what they wanted to do there. It's either my man catches it, the ball is incomplete, or maybe we get a fucking a def, uh a pass interference. So it none of that happened. Yeah, it's not like that's the frustrating part about these interceptions is these are gifts. These aren't interceptions that are like defensive players making great reads and plays on a ball. This is Josh just giving them the ball. This is defenders just, cutting in for like, and again, I remember a part like this last year with, Atlanta, the Colts game, the There was another game in there where he just wasn't seeing the field well. And I think he's going through that rut right now where he's not seeing the field well, or he's just getting too gassed up in the moment, and he's not calming himself down and being like, yo, we got this. Chill the fuck out. Like, everybody stand on me. Like, you see him in the press conference. Certain fans are pissed that the media is saying he looks dejected, and that's what a leader is. That's what you want, because the Bills have had so many quarterbacks that deflect blame and stuff. And I get the fans that are like, yo, he's making mistakes. We have the right to be pissed too. So, it's going both ways. I thought he played well. I mean, I was mad that they went away from what was working in the run game, and that's what was keeping Minnesota off balance. They're hitting us on the edges, they're winning on the edges, and because our guys are getting either sucked up field or they're pinning them down hard. There was one run in particular where Dawson Knox had a really nice block. I thought he was going to get hit for a hold. It was on the McKenzie end. It was a McKenzie kind of like end around, quick hitter. Really nice play. And it was like a 20-yard play. He said besides the two picks. So besides the two picks, Mike, it was just yeah, they're just not good. And I said that earlier. It's like this whole season, win or lose, they've been a charity case with the football. Seriously, they've been a charity case with the football. They're like averaging like 2.5, 3 turnovers a game. You can't win like that. You might win the odd game here and there, because you're a good team. They're a good team, a very good team, but you can't win handing the team the ball just for fun. You can't do that. Have they had one game where they didn't turn the football over? I don't think they have. I think they have turned the ball over in every game. They've literally turned the ball over in every game. So, and that's not gonna fly. The only solace I take here, was last year they were 7-6, and then they rattled off the wins that they needed. They got to 11-6. So they rattled off 4 straight wins. I'm sorry. So they were in a worse spot last year. They were in a much worse spot at 7-6. But they have basically an old half season left, and they need to again have a come to Jesus meeting at One Bills Drive with what they're going to do offensively, how they're going to run the football, how they're going to establish it, stick with it. And it's kind of one of the things where it was a fumble. I mean, they're not going to overturn it on the field. I mean, referees, unless it was clear and obvious, it was 50-50. I mean, the ball was, I didn't expect them to overturn it, but still, you can't. It just you can't do that to yourself. You just can't do it to yourself. Even if you get 3 there, still they're just taking, you pin them back, something. But everybody was culpable for this. The defense, the injuries caught up with the defense today. But that 81-yard run is inexcusable because you got to make them earn that shit. You know what? The defense is going to give up touchdowns, scoring drives every now and again. And Minnesota made some hellacious fucking plays. Hawkinson had some great catches. And Jefferson is just fucking, what can you say? I mean, I don't need to say anything. We all saw it. So it's extremely frustrating that they have these lulls and dips mid-season every year. They get to a certain amount of wins, and then they just kind of like, it's like the Halloween party happens and then it turns into chill hour. So Oh, let me read some of the comments. Steve, what's up, bro? Yeah, they just went away from what was working, which was the perimeter runs and the short, quick passes. The occasional Josh scramble, occasional, and that was fine. That got you 24 points, and they you come out for me. You come out. What was horrific is you had the game. I believe it was if once they get that turnover and I don't think they settled for three. I'm not sure. I think they punted, but it was like when they get the ball, Dane Jackson gets the pick. You gotta put that in the end zone and go up 20. You gotta. That just would have deflated. That would just would have killed them. That just would have killed them. Yeah, man. He's got to play. Like 8 games left. They need him back, man. It's been a year. He's been out there. I didn't see any warm up things today. I didn't see anything. So he's got to be ready to go. It's just yeah. They settle for three. It's to me. It's okay. Okay, you scored, but like that 6 and 7's a backbreaker, man. It's a fucking backbreaker. That one just is a killer. I can't remember the last time they had one. Thurman Thomas was the running back actually. Like I that's a little frustrating I see other teams do that, like that little screen, it gets that cheap, you know, it's the way defenses have to play them though. They play the Bills so differently because of Josh. They're like, fuck, we don't care if you try to run a screen, he's going to run at us. So we can't play upfield too fast. So they have to be more conventional with what they do with their rush lanes and shit. They don't get out of them much. But to me, it was more egregious that they just didn't stick with what was working because they had control of that. You control what plays you call. You control who gets the football. And some of those perimeter runs that could go to Cook could be very, very explosive. They could, they might not just be eights and tens like with Singletary, when they're good. That's when they're good. They might be 15s, 20s, 30s. That's how you make hay. But until then, it's just like this whole week they need to again have a come to Jesus meeting. I've repeated that multiple times. They really need to look themselves in the mirror on offense. For me, it's hard with the defense because some of the one pass interference on Benford, he's a rookie. I get it. You can't go grabbing that guy right in front of the ref. He's gonna throw the fucking flag, dude. I felt like the pass was a little uncatchable, but he's gonna throw the fucking flag. That was what was it? That was like an 18-yard, 22-yard. The Benford hit on when he flung the guy. You know what I mean? Don't do that, dude. Come on, man. That was 15 yards. There was some plays though. He had good coverage on Jefferson. Just the pass was excellent, and Jefferson he's that fucking good. He's the best wide receiver in the league right now, to my eyes. He's that good. I didn't see it, Trevor. I have to go back and look. I have to watch that play really close because I was just kind of watching the lanes. I just didn't think he won on his route. It could be me. I just didn't think it didn't look like Davis won on his route. I felt like maybe if you wanted to throw the laundry, you could have thrown it on Dawson Knox. Homeboy didn't get his head around. He kind of just grabbed like Knox but again, the Bills do not get those calls for a team that throws as much as they do, as often as they do, down the field too. It's not like a lot of these are cheapies. Josh is putting it down the field. They just don't get the calls. They just don't get the contact calls. I don't know about comparing last year to this year, Trevor. I mean, I didn't see so much angry last year. They were up 20. They were up 24-10 today, dude. Like, I let me look, Matt. Dorsey needs to get in the lab, get a little more creative. Just you know what? I hate to bring up, but like the Bills that we knew in the 90s, they had a small playbook. It was like 12 plays, and we're just going to run the same shit out of a slightly different look. Or we're just going to keep running it till you stop it. You can't stop it. We don't give a fuck if you know it's coming. We're just going to do it. And that's what they would do. Like, let me look. Oh, and red. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Oh, not if they're not going to use them. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, I mean, just the punt returns. That's all they're using him for right now. And I saw he got like one or two plays in offense. He was in split back with Cook, and then that was it. I think he caught a pass too. I think he caught a pass. Don't hold me to that. Yeah, Doug. I thought so too. I thought I don't know if that was in the end zone. I think it was in the end zone because Davis did that like double move that he did in Kansas City. The DB kind of like almost held him or grabbed him, and then just the pass was incomplete. If they would have got that there, it's 1st and goal at the 1, and you got to try to score a touchdown there. You just absolutely would have had to. You have to throw it, obviously. You're not going to run it because then it's got to be because you want to, if you don't get it, you want to be able to tie the game. Well, again, it's like in the second half, they're just not putting teams away. And I get the point of you want to encourage your guys. What are you going to do? You're going to if they're going to fight and do that shit, they do that shit behind closed doors. You don't want them having crazy blow ups on a sideline, acting like a bunch of uncomposed knuckleheads. Well, we had a crazy running back is what they had. They had a solid quarterback and they had a very tough wide receiver. Diggs is a excellent wide receiver. But as per the other weapons, I mean, they don't have another weapon like Thurman Thomas. Like today, Minnesota, they had Dalvin Cook and they have Hawkinson. I just feel like Knox should be more involved. I said this last week. Knox should be more involved in the passing game, and they need to settle on a running back, and it should be James Cook. To me, that should be James Cook. James Cook should be your guy. Well, missing Poyer hurt. Missing Poyer hurt. That stuff doesn't bother me, man. Like he's encouraging his guys. He's the head coach. You can't. Well, yeah, the defense are definitely caught up. I mean, that's obvious. That's painfully obvious. Well, yeah, knock the ball down, Cam Lewis. I get it. He wanted to try to be a hero and intercept the ball, seal the game. But all you got to do is just knock that ball, man. Just that ball. They need to use that as a teaching moment. It's like, dude, just knock the ball down. Just knock the ball on the ground. It was like in the Colts game when their playoff game in 2020. They knocked the ball the way that it ended in a Hail Mary situation, and that was the year the Hail Mary happened. So you remember Hyde just knocking that ball on the ground so forcefully, because it's like these situations are going to come up again during the year. They have 8 fucking games left, that half a season. Yeah, he literally caught the ball for him. And Jefferson has his hand in there and the momentum of his body. Like he's got, and Cam Lewis is not a big guy. He's tiny. He's not a big guy. He's like 5'8" and change. He's not even, he's 180 soaking wet. And you got a 6'1.5", 6'2", legit 200-pound dude, up in the air, elite athlete, fucking coming down, boom. You got an undrafted free agent, basically, who's starting his first game against a guy who might be the best wide receiver in the league. And he just kind of like, he catches it, his hand's there, and he just, boop. It was like the momentum just brought it right to him. And I'm like, of all these passes, they couldn't hit the ground. They just couldn't hit the ground. Like the one pass that was at the goal line, everybody thought he scored on. I was like, that pass got tipped and it didn't hit the ground. It still made it there. I swear. The Bills had no luck. The fucking pitchback. Remember the one that fucking Cousins, he tripped over, the offensive lineman steps on his foot and he throws it back to Dalvin Cook. I'm like, that ball couldn't have rolled. It couldn't have gotten loose. I swear the Bills never get those fucking plays. They just never do. They never get the roll. They never get the holy roller ball ever. The fucking lateral to Cook, that couldn't have fucking went and that couldn't have been a scoop and score or Bills recovery. Nothing. Nothing like none of those egregious plays. Obviously Cousins threw a few picks that were pretty bad. They were pretty bad interceptions. So let's just not, he floats a ball over the middle, and the one to Dane Jackson was awful interception too. But just none of those plays, man. Can't win the coin toss either, Doug. Can't win it. Yeah, just there you go. They're scared. They're scared you're going to put a ball over their head. They're going to back up. Just boom, 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 boom. And that was the frustrating part, is they had time. They had the timeouts that could have been done. There's no need to try to wedge a ball into a tight area there, because if it gets tipped, it's anything. Yeah, the coin toss is just dumb. Like I get it. To me, like if you choose to get the ball, the other team should get it to start overtime. Like if you choose to get the ball at the beginning of the game, right? Or you say, you defer or whatever, the other team should get the ball. They should get the chance to get the ball. But again, they're not getting any, they're not making their own breaks either, guys. Let's be honest with you. The turnovers, some of these mental errors that they're committing are just, they're repeat offenses. And I'm not going to give them a pass. Like, I'm sorry, it's a 4th and 18. I get it. Cam Lewis, your first start. You've been in the league 3-4 years, dude. You played at a D1 school. You got to know to knock that ball out of there. You got to know. They have to have this. And another thing too is, like, how can you let that guy get loose like that? He wasn't loose. I mean, he made a hellacious catch. A fucking hellacious catch. Well, I said, Trevor, he's trying to win the Super Bowl on a 2nd and 10 in week 9 or 10. And you're not going to do that, dude. You have to relax, slow it down a little bit. I hope so, Neil. I fucking hope so. We're all going to sit and find out and watch. That's for sure. God, I hope so. Otherwise, it's going to be fucking hammer time. I'm telling you, because that's not healthy for me to be sitting here with this fucking sledgehammer. That's why I went and worked out, Trevor. I went and worked out, hang out with my girl. She was great. Spent some good time with her. Just doing simple shit. And it was really, really nice. And it chilled me out. It calmed me down. Took my mind off of it. Yeah, it definitely has to be better, dude. But the players in the moment have to be conscious of it too, man. They have to know they have to really, really know the situation. Be like, hey, look, this, and this, and not this and this. And the this and this, that don't turn the ball over and don't commit a penalty. That's it. Don't turn the ball over. Don't commit a penalty. That's it. And just do your assignment. That's all. Don't turn the ball over. Or if I get it, hang on to the ball. Don't turn the ball over. and just don't commit a penalty. And they get in the red zone. It's just like they get in their own way. It's like they're trying to figure out who they want to be. Do we want to be this just hyper active passing team? We want to run it like the first half. We want to be a running team. The second half, when we're leading by 17, we want to be a passing team. It's just that's ass backwards to me. And is it, I don't know. Is it the offensive coordinator who was a physically limited pro who wasn't good enough that's got this high octane toy as a quarterback and he wants to vicariously just kind of play the game the way he would have liked? I don't know. I don't know, man. Not good though. Not good. I just want to win, or I just want to win one. Who's saying that's it? Now I'm desperate for wins. That was the bad one, man. That was the 81-yard run is just such a quick score, and it's just such a mental dump. You know what I mean? The mental dump where it's just like, you just give up that quick score, and it's like they have the whole fourth quarter. It's like, look, and then I'm saying to myself, look, Bills, put some points on the board here. Go score a touchdown. I think they went 3 and out, or they obviously didn't score until the field goal at the end to send it to OT. But I was like, come on, bow up, put a drive together. And that's the frustrating thing, man. I mean, life is hard. I mean, we choose this. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't cry for me, Argentina. Like we all do as grown ass men, we choose to sit down and watch this team in particular play. So I don't feel sorry for me, but we choose the glory when they get it. We gotta embrace the suck when it happens, and it sucks. This sucks. This one, like the title of this thing, this one stings. This one really fucking stings. I just didn't like the Utz. I didn't like the play selection. I mean, if you're going to go for it on fourth, you've got to try to run the ball at least once there, man. You've got to try to run the fucking ball. And it was they could have gotten a first down and not had to punch the ball in there. They could have gotten a first down. They chose to go 3 straight passes. I'm like, didn't you just run 2 touchdowns in? Like, why aren't you just going back to what was working? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it, Hussein. That's any game, Mike. That's any game. That's why we're going to watch them play. That's why they're going to practice all week and try to get shit rectified. I don't know why they were trying that when they were up. Why the hero ball when you're up? But again, being up 17 with a minute and change in the third quarter, you're like, okay, if they want it, make them earn it. And it was the 81-yarder, and then it was a bunch of other weird. I mean, to watch that fourth quarter back again is I'm not doing it. Like mentally, I can't watch it again right now. I can't, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that to myself. But it was the same thing last year with him, Matt. They were 7-6. Guys, remind Matt, they were 7-6 last year. All right. So basically, they're only going to win one more and win 3. That's their record. They were 7-6 last year until they rattled off 4 straight and got and obviously we're in the playoffs, won the division and all. It's maddening. So he had his faults too. He's working with this pretty much the same group. Well, again, Neil, there's 8 games left. 8 games. There's 8 games. We know we know how crazy shit can get in 8 games, right? The league could turn on its head in 8 games, half a fucking season, pretty much. So even me, I have to talk myself off a goddamn ledge here. You know, holding this doesn't help. But my God. But just not again, like not having a back that you can just feed and just kind of grind with. You saw there was a point in the I believe it was the third quarter. Minnesota had Matheson in there, and he was running. He had a few good runs actually, and then Dalvin came in the fourth quarter, like midway through. They decided they were just going to ride him, and even on their field goal drive in overtime, he had a few nice runs to start the drive, and it was like they were there. Then there was the Jefferson, or I forget, it was the Jefferson catch or the Osgood catch, and then there was the 15-yard Benford penalty, and they're in chip shot range. So that whole sequence just went downhill fast. Even in overtime, where they had a chance to go win, they were ready to shit the bit really quick. kind of good observation, Eric. Kind of good observation there, dude. Trevor, yeah, they have 8 games. That's 8 games. We all gonna watch them play games. We're all gonna watch them as passionately, and hopefully we can look back at this as like a turning point moment, like where they just decide, like, hey, like we can't do this to ourselves. If we want to go where we want to go, we can't play football like this. Otherwise, we're just going to be a one and done in the playoffs, or we're not going to make the playoffs. That's it. That's the way they have to. That's the way they have to approach it. We as fans are gonna, we're gonna suck on it. We're gonna suck on the shit stick for the week. And the only way I can get I get to break stuff. Well, I have to build stuff, but I get to break a lot of shit too. That's fun. That helps me get a lot of anger out. And then, I love to exercise. So that helps me. And I would tell you guys that, like, after a game like this, even after wins, like emotionally, like I realize like I need to emotionally calm down from these games, because they get me in such a mental place that if I'm really, really high, I'm just euphoric. But when I'm in such a low right now, I can't sit. That's not healthy. Like sitting in a room isolated the way I do a lot is not good after that emotional, like, battering that I again, I put myself through it. Don't cry for me. I did it. Yeah, a clean game, Trevor, please. Again, I don't know if there's a game they have not turned the ball over again this year. I don't think there's one. Um, the opener, they turned over the ball 3 times. Miami, they turned over the ball, and the one turnover killed them. It went into the end zone for a touchdown. It on the next, like, the third offensive play. Third game, I want to say Tennessee. Did they turn the ball over in Tennessee? No, versus Tennessee. Did they turn the ball over? No, so there's one game. Is there one game they didn't turn off? Okay, so the KC. No, they turned over Trevor. They turned over the ball with the McKenzie. That was the opening drive. The opening drive, they turned the ball over. That was the only one of the game, but they turned over the ball right there where Josh tried to pitch it back to him, and then McKenzie like kind of bobbled it and then hit it forward. And there's that. They turned the ball. I mean, they've turned the ball. No, Neil. I don't think that. I don't think that. I think not having Beasley as a reliable third down target, still not having a back that you can lean on in moments where you need to speed a game up or just calm a game down. Like even if you're up 17, for me it's like, all right, you're up, everybody's amped, calm the game down. Start handing the ball off and, 4 yarder, 5 yarder, maybe you rip off of it, other team over there starts to get fucking antsy and they start to be like, they start doing this, they start doing this. And then, you know, it's a nice little, they just don't have it. They don't have it. They don't have it. Because again, uh, I'm going to sound like a broken record. They were 7-6 last year with Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator. 7-6. And we were all in here calling for his head. It stops the clock. That's why I said down at the goal line, if you knew you were going to go for it on fourth down, why wasn't one of those plays a run play? The thing that pisses me off the most is that's your quarterback. That ball should go in. Well, they just haven't. They don't stick with it either. Dable didn't stick with it. There's a few games he stuck with it, and they were ugly wins, but they were wins. Or Diggs. It's Allen. It's third down. It's Allen or Diggs all day. I know he got called for one on a Josh run. I know Morris fucking took down. He got that whole middle got blown up there. Harrison Phillips came right into the got fucking hard as fuck, and they just like all fell. He just pulled them down. I didn't know he had two. I know he had one. And today was his first game back after the ankle injury. There's one silver lining in this game. Okay, Tremaine Edmonds went out at half with the groin. You lose your starting middle linebacker. That hurts. But again, they have so many injuries on defense right now. It's really hard. It's hard to get mad. But it is easy to get mad because some of the plays they didn't make were just knock the ball out. Don't grab the dude's jersey. Don't do this in front of the ref. Like he's gonna throw the flag. And I sound like a broken record, but my God, like the Bills just get no offensive. They get no defensive. They get no offensive pass interference calls. They get no defensive holding calls, and they get no illegal contact calls. None. They just get none. I don't want to go that far, Steve. We're talk ourselves a ledge here. I was pissed off he didn't come up with that interception. It was an incomplete pass. He tipped it. He carried the receiver downfield nicely, but it's just splash plays, man. Just the splash plays. Like you just don't get them from him. I was hoping Milano could come through. I mean, he made some nice stops today. He sniffed out some. They got some big plays in the backfield. Again, just one of those balls bouncing. Like, oh my God, Cousins steps on, gets his foot stepped on. It just pitches. It goes to Delvin Cook. The ball doesn't ricochet. Nothing. The lateral where it's like the ball doesn't ricochet or nothing. Like he doesn't try to like hit it. It's just like it never. No making nothing, like no lucky bounce happened today for the Bills. None. Well, again, like well, the one big one was the 81 yarder, and I'd like to think he would have had an impact in that, but I mean, it was Benford. Benford missed there bad. I mean, that's a hard spot to put a guy in, but once he missed, it was over because nobody was catching him. Well, again, they're not in the playoffs right now, dude. The playoffs is, you know, we're not in the playoffs. So we can't talk, about that yet. They're not the playoffs aren't now. Super Bowl's not now. Just, you know, well, they just threw him the ball a lot because there was nobody else to throw the ball to. Forget them, man. Like I honestly, dude, you gotta interact with people the way you want to. Bro, there's a whole different secondary behind him. Matt Milano's a great player. He's a very good player. He's a very, very good player. He's great at sniffing out screens. He's an excellent tackler. Like I'm not gonna. It was a lot of fails today. There was a lot of fails. Edmonds is a good player, but for the money he's gonna want, he's gonna out. Yeah, dude, Doug, avoid it because it's like that's what sports makes worse now. It's like you want to it's just back in the day. It was just when you see kids at school or buddies at work, but dude, Vaughn's been great, man. Dale, you're talking about like what are they average players? Who's who's the two receive? I mean, you got Poyer and Hyde. He didn't count on the injuries happening to those guys. You never know when White's going to come back. They drafted Elam first overall. Like they drafted a running back in the second round. Like they, they have, they didn't know Tommy Doyle was going to get injured. You can't have backups for backups for backups. Everybody in the league is going to have an injury. Yeah, the injuries have been crazy, man. I just think he's trying to force things. It's like they're on a 2-game losing streak, and he's trying to win again. I think he's trying to win the Super Bowl. Like like some of us talking about the Super Bowl in November. It's not, it's not. So it's really, really frustrating. But I just don't know what he was looking at. I'm not going to go that far, Dale. Again, there's 8 games left. There's 8 games left. I mean, Eric, you can't be a fucking. Imagine being with a player. Oh, I think we're gonna. Oh boy, we got this guy coming in this week. Oh, we're gonna get steamrolled. Oh boy, here's 6-4 going into Thanksgiving. Oh man, I wish we would have signed this guy. Oh fuck, like imagine playing with a dude like that. You can't, as a player. Players can't think like us as fans. Players can't be fans. They have to be positive. They have to be upbeat. They're the ones who have to go sacrifice their bodies. Hussein, I was fine. I had no like I felt like he was gonna play. And I as a fan, the one thing for all the years of drought and not being relevant and stuff, the one thing I said to myself, I'm like, look, I choose to root for this team. I don't have to root for this team. I want to root for this team. I love rooting for this team. It's my biggest passion in life. One of my biggest passions. I tell my girl, I have a mistress, and she's at One Bills Drive in Orchard Park, New York. That's my mistress. And for a lot of time during the year, that mistress gets a lot of my time. Like I think about her a lot. I pay attention to her a lot, and that's it. And so I choose it, and I just ask that they're in games. Like that was the thing I said to myself to keep myself going as a fan is like as long as they're in games to the fourth quarter or the final 2 minutes to win it or lose it, I'll be happy. Like as long as they can be competitive and not be just a a team people bitch smack around. And dude, Shady was done. What are you talking about, Mike? Mike, you're off the handle. Now you're off the handle, but Shady was done. But these three losses, they're right there. They're either winning or they had their shot to win, and they have to find the prescription for the affliction because it ain't gonna go unless they change it. That's it. It's on them. They're the ones who has to change it. And hopefully we get some good news this week about White, maybe Trey. Hopefully, like Trey's gonna play this week. We don't have to wait for some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, is he active? Is he inactive? I just want McDermott to be like, yo, he's gonna play. Enough bullshit. He's not injured anymore. His rehab's done. I'd like to see Poyer practicing this week. He looked like he had some bursitis in his elbow that, they can drain that out, so it's not so swollen and stiff. They probably don't want to drain it right away because they don't want it to just refill. They want to let the inflammation calm down on its own and then pull it. And then, he can get, braced up and shot up properly. Dude, I'm very controlled. Trust me, I want to use it. I wouldn't have any electronics. I wouldn't have a computer. I wouldn't have a TV. My walls, I'd be fucking man. That's why I don't play. I don't play video games anymore. Smashing controllers. Like, okay, I'm done doing that. $60 a pop a few times. I'll get like, all right, I'm done doing this shit. Yeah. So thanks for hanging with me, guys. It's been an hour and a half. I'm already on to next week. I can't sit on this. I'm already on to next week, Trevor. I'm like, flushed it. Nothing you can do about it now. Like a loss like that, a game like that's going to have its own storyline, its own. It's like being 6-1. You're not thinking about the Miami game too much anymore. But now the Bills have to put their big boy pants up on and be like, hey, we've got to go out there. And, they've got a team coming in that, took a bad L on the road, and they're going to have their own storylines this week with Deshaun Watson coming back. And, is he going to start right away? Is he going to play? If Jacoby has a good game, is he going to stay? So their defense is up against it. So they have their own issues, but the Bills have to, they can't care about that shit. They can't care about that shit. They literally cannot give two fucks about that. They have to go out there and play Jacoby Brissett and win. No, he's not back. It's Jacoby Brissett. And they have to, come up with a game plan to win. Yeah, right. How not to? Well, if you want to put their fat to the fire, Mike, there's one place because initially they tried, Gore was at the end of his rope. He was more there for veteran, presence for the whole team, offensive players, young team. And then, drafting Zach Moss did not go well. But, again, Motor has been there for 4 years. He's been an okay player. An okay player. And I'm like, okay, you have to stop being okay with okay. Do you want to see something special? Like the guy you drafted in the second round might have some special sauce. But you got to give him the fucking ball. You got to give him the ball. He has to get the ball. And he's an excellent pass catcher. He's an excellent pass catcher. We know that. Like turning something into nothing, just shiftiness, quick feet. Like that's the guy you have to get involved. You have to get him involved. But all right, guys. It's an hour and a half. It's 12 o'clock. It's Monday. It's next week. So thanks for the therapy session. I appreciate you very, very much. Thanks, Eric. That's a good attitude to have. I'm trying to keep it that way, It's just tough. 2 games in 11 days, 3-18, Yeah, but they've got to go. They've got to go do their thing. Take care, Hussein. Have a good week, man. They've got to go, the whole league has to deal with situations. So they have, again, they've got that next week. They have that one, and I think they have a mini bye, so that'll help. I think the mini bye, I don't really count this game. I just count the next 2, so 2 and 11. So take care, guys. Peace. Go Bills. Love you all. I wish I could be having a better conversation, but got to take this shit, and suck on it for a little while, and hopefully this taste gets washed out of our mouth this time next Sunday. Love y'all.